Hello and welcome to another delicious episode, often compared to a chocolate gatto cake, but for your ears, episode of Listenland.
Oof. What's your chocolate gatto in your ears?
Well, it's very 90s, isn't it? It's very thick.
Is that what they used to do in 90s?
Black Forest gatto.
What, down
No,
here?
no, that's
Yes. 70s, isn't it?
Have some of that.
Viennetta.
Ooh. Classic.
How the other half live. What's happening?
Well, apparently I've read that Bill Wyman has said the reason why he left the Rolling Stones is because I was fucking skint.
Skin?
Because Mick and Keith had out money. Me, Watts and Wood, we had no money at all.
So
we had to beg the management for money to pay bills. I should have left years ago.
So he thought leaving the Stones would harvest him more money because he was going to be selling dishcloths?
I don't know. But apparently the only ones that were making any money were Mick and Keith, all others.
Well, they wrote all the songs.
Were fucking skint.
They wrote all the songs.
I guess that's how they split it up though, didn't it? It was back in the day when there wasn't really like sure how to operate it.
I always thought that he left because he got fed up of touring.
And there was rumours around him.
Really?
Wyman.
Yeah, I know he had a lot of friends, didn't
no,
he?
that was Fleetwood Mac, wasn't it?
Wee.
He had a lot of friends,
Yeah.
alleged friends, and they were quite young.
I just thought he was tired. But yeah, well, the thing is, Mick and Keith wrote the songs. That's why they were called the Glimmer Twins. And was it Glitter Twins?
Glitter Twins.
Glitter Twins. And unless they stated out at the beginning, like Coldplay, so what Coldplay do is they split everything four ways. And like
And that's how it
is
should
that how you two do it as well?
I think so, yeah.
I've said this before, it should be like that.
But Coldplay has stated as well, this is recent news, that they aren't going to do any more than 12 albums because nobody needs to do any more than the Beatles have done. They will still tour as Coldplay.
Right.
So
They don't want
what?
to stop touring, but they don't want to do any more albums.
So there'll be no more new stuff?
Not after 12, no.
Really?
Yeah.
They've done more than 12 albums, surely.
It feels like it, but apparently not.
Feels like a lot more than that.
They ain't... No, I'm not having that. They haven't done 12 albums.
Name me 12 albums. Without best ofs. We've got Parachutes.
We've got Parachutes, Yellow...
No, Yellow's not an album. We've got Parachutes.
No.
We've got
X and Y.
No, it was one before that with Scientist on.
La Vida.
That's
No,
after
that's
after
after
X and
X
Y.
It's still an album.
It is. We've got. Oh, you're looking on your phone. I see. We've got In My Place album with that song In My Place.
Yeah.
Which is Scientist on. I can't recall it. Like.
Oh, what was that album called? That's my favourite
It's
song
got
by Coldplay.
it's got like
that.
a half a head,
Scientist.
like a wire.
Yeah. Scientist, my favourite song. Great
What do you
song.
call that one?
I can't remember now.
You've got...
Starts off as Parachute. That was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Parachute.
yeah. I think you're going through singles there.
Hello. Am I?
You may do.
Don't...
Tell you what. Let's,
Hold on.
No, I don't. We'll bear with me, listeners and watchers.
Okay,
Parachutes.
Rush Your Blood to the Head.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we
see
go.
it.
That's good.
Live 2003.
Yeah.
X and Y.
Yeah.
Viva La Vida.
Yeah, that's the one that Joe Satriani sued him for.
Yeah, that was terrible. I didn't like that album.
Yeah, he got a big
I think
hit out of
from there onwards, well,
Left, Right is a
I
live
thought that
album.
one poor.
it. Yeah,
Milo X Loto.
yeah.
Live one. Ghost Stories.
Terrible.
Ghost Stories
Terrible.
live.
No.
Basically, after that, garbage.
A Head Full of Dreams.
No.
Live in Buenos Aires.
No.
Everyday Life.
No.
Which one was called Lifting Money from Your Pocket?
Hold on. Right.
How many?
You've got
How
to
many
go
does
right
it?
back to X and Y for that.
How many does it say they've had album?
Okay, I'll tell you that. Including live albums, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13.
Well, you've gone too far.
16.
Well, excluding live albums because they're not going to do any more.
And
than
they've got
12.
the latest one, which is 17.
Yeah, well, maybe they got one more and that's it.
So they've already done more than 12. I thought they had.
Yeah, but not live
So-
albums though.
No, but no.
There's some live albums in there.
Yeah,
Well-
not live albums.
There's probably about 6 live albums there.
But well, I'm going to say I'm right again.
Either way, I'm not. I don't know, but
So you'll find this interesting.
I'll see.
You will. So, the brother of Van Halen,
Alex.
he is he's on about now finishing unreleased Van Halen songs,
Yeah.
and on vocals will be Mr. Plant, Robert Plant.
Really? No.
Yes.
Is that confirmed?
Yes,
Really?
and on guitar
Hold on.
will be none other than
No.
Van Halen himself, done by AI.
Oh, right. Here we go.
And I thought, I wonder if Louis
Well, there's a
likes
couple of
that
things
one.
that springs to mind here. If there were any good in first place, who would have released them in first place?
Well, apparently he
I
died.
can't. Sorry?
Apparently he died.
Well, he did die, yeah, but when they were actually recorded these
they were
albums,
unfinished at that time.
but they didn't go in one afternoon and say, Rick, all these.
Well, no,
There
apparently
must have been over
what
a
had happened
period of
is
years.
he died. So some of the songs was wrote, but Dave Lee Roth had left before he could finish the vocal side, and then Van Halen died before he could do the guitar parts to the songs what was already wrote.
What? And Robert Plant was already like, hey, let's have a crack at this.
And apparently he's singled out Robert Plant as the main vocalist, and Robert Plant said, "Oh, all right, yeah, we'll give that a go." And
I find that
I just can't see it.
It just
Yeah.
seems so unusual that.
Yeah.
Like
And-
I
and-
thought that's the last thing that Robert Plant would want to do.
and the guitarist is going to be Van
I
Halen
can get that bit.
by AI.
Yeah, I can get that bit.
Yeah, but Plant.
It's something to do with Van Halen being a massive Zeppelin fan.
I get that.
Being a.
Massive Zeppelin fan. He was a really big
You were,
fan of
you were.
Zeppelin.
You loved it, yeah, but it don't.
So,
Maybe it's like a.
It's not, but Van Halen
so Alex
wasn't.
has said, "All right then, if he were that bigger of fan of Zeppelin, I'll try and get a Zeppelin singer to sing these unfinished songs."
And they've got an AI doing the guitar
And
parts.
apparently, Van Halen will be doing the guitar parts by AI.
Well, that'd be interesting.
So I thought, hey, up, it's started already.
You know, this actually leads me
Sorry,
onto
out there now.
No,
onto
I
a
mean,
comment.
actually coming into public eye, coming out onto vinyl, coming out onto Spotify or whatever it may be. It's
You've got ABBA. They're doing it already.
this-
They've been
yeah,
doing
but,
it with
but they're not on
virtual things.
Spotify, have
This
they?
brings me onto a
Not
statement,
long.
that, and I wrote it down.
But they will be, won't they?
I wrote it down, but I didn't
Be
really know where
interesting.
to go with it because
Yeah, that's
it
what it
didn't
is.
really make much sense to me. So, Will I Am, do you know him from
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah.
He's quite into like futurism and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, recorded music is the past. It's now time for the artists to decide where music goes.
What does that mean?
Exactly. I don't know what that means.
No.
But that's why I wrote it down. I wrote it down and I never used it because I had no conclusion as to what it meant. But
Don't mean anything, though.
But if live music isn't the future and it's about AI, so wait.
I'm
so
afraid that's just Will I Am being a little bit.
I know, but like let's imagine that there's a bit more.
There's no Devon.
Then again, no. But let's imagine that there's no such thing as live music creation anymore. Maybe it's like maybe music creation is all about prompts. So to get an image of a cat playing a piano, you have
Yeah.
to put an X amount of prompts in. Maybe the skill in the future will lie in how you speak to AI. So what is the prompt that gets you to create a solo in the style of Eddie Van Halen? Maybe that is the future of music. Maybe there isn't.
Don't know.
It's a scary and unfamiliar future.
It is.
Is it a future that you like?
Not necessarily, because
No.
Instantly we're already old school, but you can see that the skill of it comes in the
Is
prompt.
it all right? So we're all
No,
over 40.
But you get what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
becomes in the script that you
No, it's
used
not.
to get an answer.
So we are all over 40. So we're old
Well-
school musicians. So
Some of us are.
will today's young music people prefer that?
Here's what I'll answer that question with, or here's how I will answer that question is
No.
Because they'll get fetched up on it.
the short answer, no. Long answer, what you have to bear in mind is
They'll get used to it quicker than we will.
well, not that, but how important certain things are in music to certain age demographics.
Yeah.
So the younger you get, the less important it appears to be for the masses. Because you grew up in different times where things are different and blah, blah, blah. So my conscious era of growing up was the 90s. And luckily for me, in the 90s, you had guitar music. And there was bands and stuff, right? If you're talking to somebody who's my age than what I was in the 90s, they might not be that bothered about self-creating music.
No.
They might just be like really like a good tune or whatever like that. So maybe the actual creation side of it isn't important. Maybe they're not bothered about if someone's a really good guitar player or a drummer or whatever or a singer. Maybe it's just about, oh yeah, this matches a vibe.
Yeah, possibly. I think that's why the younger end of today has more diversity in the music, because they can stream whatever they want. They can stream anything from ABBA to Pavarotti, from Motorhead to One Direction. Where when we were growing up, the only things that you had were radio or go and buy an album.
You had to search something out.
So you had to, but you couldn't use internet because there wasn't one.
Mm-hmm.
So you tend to buy the music in the genre that you like. You don't expand, because if you want to expand, you've got to go and spend £12 on an artist that you've never heard of to listen to him.
It's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you might think, oh my God, she's shy, or oh God, what a terrible voice he's got. But it's too late then, you've bought album. Where today's kids just go, who's this? Mr. Willy Wogger. Oh, he's all right. I like that.
Well, this is what we spoke about before, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like back then.
So there's more diversity today, and it don't cost you as much money.
So back then, you had to spend money to create an identity of what you wanted to be. So we've had the discussion before on here where like, what was your first album or first single?
Yeah.
And they're all embarrassing stuff. So mine was from a bargain bin in Woolworths, and I think it was like 3 for £10 or whatever like that. And I got Bryan Adams Unplugged. I got a Kylie Minogue single, and I got an All Saints single. Terrible.
Under the Bridge.
No, it was the Beach song.
Oh, right.
Never Ever. Sorry.
Never ever.
Arguably their biggest song, but at the time,
and for your age,
it worked.
they were
I mean, but the first songs are meant to be embarrassing, but now
they've only become cringeworthy.
But now, if you were to ask somebody what the first song they streamed, they'll have no idea. There's no such thing as like identifying themselves through like
that's
subgenres.
the problem with Spotify. There's no content.
That's what I've just been saying, that
There's no physical content.
the younger ones of today have got more diversity over the music, because when we were growing up, if you wanted to listen to an artist that you've never heard of, you had to spend £12 on his album, which were a risk. So you kept in the genre that you know, the bands that you know.
No, I disagree.
And you don't venture out of that.
I had Spotify way before Spotify was invented.
Yeah, but it came at a cost. It was a financial investment.
Yeah, but it weren't that much.
Yeah.
Well, you had to save pocket money to do it.
I'm going on about
I had record library.
70s and 80s.
Yeah, me too.
So when you want, an artist that you stream now that nobody else has ever heard of, that you've found, I don't know, let's say it's...
We're talking in comparison to today.
Yeah.
Mick Lambert, and you've heard him on Spotify, so you stream him, you think, oh, he's all right. I quite like him. Or you might think, well, he's shite. But to listen to him back in 70s and 80s, you had to go out and buy his album.
It was harder work.
Because he wasn't on radio, so the only way, if you come across Mick, whoever it is...
Lambert,
the only way to listen to him is go out, spend 12 quid on his album, fetch it home, listen it, then decide if you liked him or not.
No. What I used to do is, I remember at Rotherham Library, and they used to have quite a good selection, quite a large selection of recorded music, either on tape or on vinyl. And you could go in, you could get 6 albums or 6 tapes, or I think it was 6 anyway. But you could also request albums. And so if Mick Lambert, was it Mick Lambert? If I wanted to get a Mick Lambert album, I'd go and request a Mick Lambert album.
But you understand, or surely you appreciate the difference between now and then.
I do.
But now they just go Spotify, Mick Lambert.
The accessibility of finding new music.
Oh, I like that. Also, who's this? Joan Smith. Oh, I'll listen to her.
I know. I get the concept that
the accessibility of music is.
I get the concept.
So the diversity
is so more accessible now.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I think the point I'm trying to make.
The diversity of younger generation music today is bigger than our generation.
What I think I'm trying to say is, Wayne, that, if you're stuck in one genre when you were a youth, it was your own fault. There was options.
I've just received an email from an avid listener, and apparently, I believe you're referring to record booths.
I owe a fine.
But the thing is, so yeah, there are always ways of finding music, and that's not in dispute, obviously, because otherwise the record industry wouldn't have progressed. But comparatively to today,
it's so much easier now.
And what we're trying to say is, and even with making music, it's become like a bit of a sludge area where everything's so accessible. The thing I've said a couple of podcasts ago is that pure creativity comes through limitations. And when you've got so much at your fingertips, so much accessibility, there's nothing saying no. It's like with Prince. Prince's best work was when people were telling him no. Prince's worst work was when he was just producing whatever.
Churning it out.
Yeah, churning it out. I mean, he was a prolific artist, but he had so many yes men around him saying, oh, Prince is great. Yeah, another Purple Rain, come on. But it was crap.
Yeah.
And you're all right to make crap, but you need... Well, there's a line in an Elbow song, and I can't quite remember it, so bear with me, but it's something like there's nothing like 4 people and 4 walls, or the biggest ideas come from the smallest rooms, or something like that. I don't believe that everything at your fingertips is a good thing.
No,
in aspects of creativity.
Yeah, you have to work for it.
Yeah,
you have to be. You once said in a previous one that it's the art of the best thing about music is 4 people or 2 people or 1 person can go in a room with a piano or no instruments or whatever,
something,
and they walk back out and they've got a song because they've been creative and they've worked off each other and they've bounced ideas around and they've come out with something. It's great, yeah.
Yeah, 4 guys. The Beatles walked into a room with nothing one day, and they walked out with
and that will never leave. Yeah. That will never leave. I don't care whether it's about AI or that sort of thing. You'll never lose that. The human nature is to create. You're right. That will never go. But the problem is, it'd be too tempting to allow everything. It would be too tempting for help. Which is what technology is. Yeah.
When there's something about 4 people walking into a room, creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
And hearing, you don't know it yourself when hearing it, but there'll be imperfections.
Yeah. But sometimes that's where the
jewel is. The Beatles
it?
And Stones, a lot of their stuff you can't put to click because it's not in time.
No.
But if you were to go into a studio today, I'd argue that they'd be like, oh, we'll have this and that, and you want trumpets, so you want this, and it's all there. Everything's laid out for you, and it's all to click. It's too perfect.
It's too perfect, yeah.
And you've got steel drums and everything, and you don't have to wait a week for them to fly over. I don't
think it'll ever take over.
No, it already has.
No, I don't think so.
I think the industry's become so great.
The industry revolves around the money,
and the money speaks.
And the money speaks. It screams and shouts. It doesn't speak. But there's always new bands coming up. There's always new artists coming up. It might be somebody just playing acoustic guitar and singing a few songs. They will always be there.
So Miley Cyrus, over the past 12 months, has won won a Grammy for her song "Flowers." They can buy myself flowers, right? Turns out she's been sued not by himself, but by
it's somebody else.
it's by what do you call him? He's done a residency in Vegas, and he's got a gambling problem. Bruno Mars,
Yeah,
his company or the people who own his record label, they've sued her because of it's too similar to one of his songs, and it's incredibly similar.
But that happens all the time, though, doesn't it? That it's been happening since '60s. That.
Yeah, I mean there was only an X amount of chords and progressions, but
you'd think they'd learn, though, wouldn't you? If it's going to be too close, it's going to get harder to do because it's going to. The more songs that's produced, the closer it's going to get to everything else.
This stuff never happened 20 years ago.
It did.
Not really.
Yeah, it did. But it wasn't as often.
Barely ever. In the past 20 years, you actually had the Led Zeppelin case.
That's been rumbling on for more than 20 years.
Yeah, but it actually went to court in the past 20 years. It went to court like 9 years ago.
Oh, no.
No, it did.
No. I think there's been several court cases about that one, and it's been rumbling on for years. That with Spirit, the band Spirit.
Oh, the Stairway to Heaven thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been rumbling on for years, that.
All right.
It's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. It will happen more frequently than because of the number of music that's coming out. I mean, how much stuff is streamed to Spotify each day?
Well, I gave you that fact, a news story a while ago about an artist, or not an artist, a software developer who's created a software that's come up with unused melodies using musical notes, and his
Thought about Unchained.
Unchained melody. Huh.
Not unused melodies. I thought
He,
you were Unchained
nice
melodies.
one.
He's copyrighted them.
Yeah.
So that
he's going to make a fortune.
No. The idea is so that in the future, that he is the one responsible for suing somebody.
Oh, right.
But he won't.
He says that.
So he's making it free.
Is he going to license it?
Yeah, he created an AI algorithm that created all these billions of melodies using the notes that's
AI
available.
Again.
And he said, well, it's going to alleviate this problem for record companies. So he may have made a lot of money through record companies, but he's essentially created a software that will alleviate people getting sued for things.
Well, that's moving forward in a positive sense, rather than bogging everybody down.
So unless it just muddies the waters when it comes to like, oh, well, you copied this song, but actually it's similar to this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's go back to the very early 80s, maybe early 70s. And down in LA, there's a band ripping the strip.
Ripping
the strip up. They are massive. They've gone from a nothing to a people are queuing a mile long to see them, to get into pubs and clubs. The band is Guns N' Roses.
Never heard of him.
No?
No.
You might know them as GNR.
Oh, all right.
So these
Gordon and Ramsay.
Gordon and Ramsay's fish and chip shops. They're all out strip. There's 3 or 4 full. You can't get fish and chips for love and money. So Guns N' Roses, they're not Guns N' Roses as we know Guns N' Roses today. They've only just started out, but for some reason they just went nuts. Everybody in LA loved them. Pubs, clubs, everywhere they played, ripping it up. So the manager thought, right, let's get them on a trip. We'll go up to Seattle and back, and from LA to Seattle, we'll do 6 gigs. We'll charge them $200 a gig. So they sell out. They get all the way up to Seattle, and they do the last gig before the long trip back down to LA. And things go off during the set. And the Seattle guy who owns the club refuses to pay the $200. Says, no, we're not paying it. Not paying it. Why? Well, we're just not paying it. So Axl says, Oh, all right then. So he walks into the back, sets fire to the toilets and tries burning building down. Which right pisses bloke who wants building off. So he gets the bouncers, get them. So they all run out at the pub, all run through back. Don't forget they're all slashing everybody, all those ice kites. So they're all running through this little place in Seattle with these bouncers chasing them. So they're in shops and bars, out at back doors. Anyway, they eventually finish in this club. But they've got no gear left because they've left it in gig place, which is now burnt down. So Axel says, right, what are we going to do? We've got no gig. We've got no stuff. What are we going to do? So they come up with an idea is, oh, look, why don't we try and pinch the house band's gear? Why are we going to do that? Well, we'll just not fuck out of them. We'll not fuck out of the house band and pinch the gear. All right, then. The house band was Soundgarden. How good is that? Weird, isn't it?
Did they knock him out?
No.
Right.
But yeah, the house band that
The house band was
tried to beat up
Soundgarden.
and pinch the stuff, well, Soundgarden.
That's pretty good. Wow.
Yeah, that was them, weren't it?
Yeah.
That's how they...
But there were all these little bands popping up all over, which we in time, all these little bands become big household names.
Yeah.
But they all intermingled at some point.
The origins of the old, what we now call grunge, it's quite a fascinating story, that.
It is.
And all around Seattle area, you got, like Alice in Chains were probably one. Well, they were one of the first ones, and Soundgarden. They all swapped and changed with each other. House of Dog, was it Church of Dog or something like that? That was another one. Was that Church of Dog? Anyway, they were all, and a lot of it were quite good, quite interesting. I've only liked it after the fight, I think.
Yeah.
I've gone back to it.
Tends to be where it goes. If there's a lot of hype behind it, it's hard to like.
Yeah, you push against it, don't you?
Yeah, it's hard to swallow that sort of commercial pill, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I was never a big fan of Soundgarden, to be fair.
No, I think they did. I think, well, from what I can think of top of my head now, 2 tracks, what were all right.
Black Old Sun.
Yeah, Black Hole Sun. And I think I've got one more song off the same album, but I can't remember what it's called. I think I might have one, but yeah.
That was the standout track, though, weren't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And it's still a good track, though.
Yeah.
It is a good track, that one, yeah.
But I didn't warm to them. I really didn't warm to them.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains, I was a bigger fan of them.
Yeah, they
And I
were
became
all
a
right.
bigger fan later.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had that first CD that came out, 4-track CD, and it exploded after that for them when they got Fly in a Jar. Was it Jar of Flies? That's that what it's called?
I don't know.
Yeah, Jar of Flies it's called, I think. It's great. Nutshell is a standout track off that.
Oh, no.
I love that track. It's great. Really good.
Good emphasis on the T there.
Sorry?
Good emphasis on the T.
Was it?
Great.
What? As in,
sorry.
Foo Fighters.
Fighters.
Great.
Great. What, talking about great, what about old Ronnie Wood?
What about Ronnie Wood?
Well, he's brought out an album, a live album, that he did, and he recorded it in Electric Ladyland
All right.
in New York, which is, as you know, this Elvis...
The home of Elvis Presley.
It's Hendrix's studio.
It is,
He
yeah.
built- he built it.
It's Jimi Hendrix's Electric Ladyland studio.
Yeah. And he recorded this album there, and he probably did it in mid-90s or something like that, but they recorded all these tracks from it, and he's released it as an album. And on this album is one of my all-time favourite tracks.
Really?
Yeah. Flying.
Oh, okay.
Now, Flying was off.
Oh, I thought it was a Faces song.
It is. It is a Faces song. And it's from the Faces' first album, First Step. And
First Step is the deepest.
No. and it's... And and I've always liked it because it's probably one of the best vocals that Rod ever did. This is back in the day when he was I don't want to say a rock singer, but
but he dabbled in his vocals like "Poor Old Grandson." What's the song? You know, the big one he's got. His big single.
If you think I'm singing.
Ooh La La.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, Ooh La La. That came off the album Ooh La La, and that was sang by Ronnie Wood anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to link it to. Like when Ronnie Wood would sing, and he was passable as him.
He was more of a. Well, he was never really passable as a backing singer, really. But anyway, he did Ooh La La. Yeah, he got away with that one.
It's like you'd think it was like AI manipulated because if
you look at it now, yes.
If you were to watch him now sing that, you'd think, Jesus.
Really? Well,
shoot him now.
Well, strangely enough, he released a track back in 1981. He fetched an album out, and it was called 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
Now, I dare anybody to listen to that track
and not wince,
and tell me that it was a good idea.
Yeah.
It sounds like somebody having a stroke.
Oh dear.
You know, it's really, and I like Ronnie Wood.
Yeah.
I've always liked. I've got a lot of time for him. I've got a soft spot for him because he's really the first professional guitarist I ever saw.
Yes.
So I've got a lot of time for him. But on that particular track, his vocals are absolutely horrendous.
Right.
I defy anybody to say that were great. His management team should have took him to one side.
Slapped him.
You see, this is the problem. He had, by that stage, a lot of power. So he could have said to his management team, I'm putting that out. And they should have said, no, you're not. And he says, you want to argue with me? Or do you want another job?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine Ronnie Wood with so much power, but yeah.
Well, he has. Because
you
if
just
you
see him
listen
as
to
this
that,
underdog lad, don't you, in the Stones? Like, hey.
If you listen to it, you're going to think to yourself, why did they let him do that?
Yeah.
Because it is so bad. It is so bad. But going back to my earlier statement about flying, now Rod Stewart did a great version of this. It's always been it would still remain in my probably top 10 tracks. Yeah. It's a great track. But on this version, obviously Rod's not singing.
Right.
You've got the Stones backing singer singing.
Oh, okay.
You've got Bernard Fowler singing. Now, Bernard Fowler, sometimes, he's been backing singer for the Stones. He's been 20 foot away from fame since mid-80s. And he now comes to front of stage and he sings with Mick sometimes. He does a little bit of a solo set and he does his little bit. He's been appreciated by the band. And he sings this version of Flying that Ronnie Wood's released. It's brilliant. Absolutely great. Great vocals. I'm not going to say it's as good as the 1970s version of Rod Stewart's version, but it's damn close.
Right.
Damn close. And I think this is a backing singer. And I think it's a good thing that Ronnie Wood's done this. I like the fact that he's allowed his backing singer from Stones to do this gig and sing along for him.
There's some good backing singers. There's been a lot.
Yeah,
of
there's a great documentary on Netflix saying that 20 foot from fame. Is it 20 foot?
10 foot or 9 foot. Yeah, but like the thing is, a lot of backing singers make it. Well, not a lot, but some make it and some don't. Yeah, Sheryl Crow was a backing singer for the Stones. Luther Vandross was a backing singer, which David Bowie found. He rocked up.
Vandross had a great voice.
Well, Luther Vandross just rocked up to visit his mate who was playing guitar on David Bowie's album, and David Bowie was like, "You've got a good voice." And
they're in the next studio, aren't they?
Yeah, and then it's like, there we go.
I've got two names for you.
Go on then.
The first one, you should know.
Peter Schmeichel.
All right, I'll show him that one then.
Got it.
The second one, I don't think you will know. So the first one is Nicky Six.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Bass player with Motley Crue. So Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses are out on tour, and they're in... Well, he's allegedly a bass player.
Well, yeah. No, he's learnt it now.
He's learnt it.
Hasn't he recently learned how to play... He took bass... Is it Nicky Six? I'm sure it is.
Yes, Nicky Six.
That's took bass lessons in something like the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've been going since what, 80s?
84.
He's only just took bass lessons.
Yeah, he's been mediocre bass player at best.
Yeah.
For years.
So Nicky Sixx and Slash are in this hotel.
Yep.
And strangely enough,
There's alcohol involved.
there is. And there's this like white powdery stuff. Now, none of them know
From
how
Colombia?
none of them know how it's got there. Oh, what do
But
we
they
do
know where
with
it's
this?
going.
I'll tell you what, let's try and have a sniff at it and just to see what it smells like.
Okay.
So they both do. And Nicky Sixx dies.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And Slash thinks, you know, he's dead. So he drags him across bedroom, hotel room.
I want to know what these two are doing in the bedroom together.
Trying to work out what flavour this white stuff is. I think that's what the intention
Is that what it was?
I think like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
This sherbet.
Yeah, what somebody's put on table for them.
Yeah.
I think they've left it in previous occupants
It's
of the room.
It's K-Lye, the dip and mix,
I
you
think
know.
the previous occupants of the rooms left it.
Right.
They forgot to pack it up. So he's dragged him across room, thrown him in shower, given him CPR, phone 999, ambulance has come, he's in cold showers and he's there, you know, chest bangings and all that stuff. And he actually saved his life.
Yeah. He's died about 4 times, hasn't he, Nicky Sixx?
Yeah. But I think that only once he's been fetched back to life by Slash. Which I thought, wow.
Well, wait till I see Slash.
I know. I think I'm out for coffee with him. Coffee and scones.
And scones?
Next Tuesday. I
bet you're buying.
I'll ask him. Oh, probably.
No, Nicky Sixx has had a bit of a checkered past with that sort of stuff, and allegedly he's died about 4 times, and they brought him back one way or another. It didn't make his bass playing any better, but they brought him back.
So the next name is, here we go, James Spencer Henry Edmund Morcel. Now you know how good I am at French, so you're going to have to guess. This is my pronunciation of it.
Pronunciation is even better.
Yes. Thierry. Might be right, might not be. That's my...
Thierry.
That sounds like a footballer.
James Spencer, Henry Edmund Morcel, Thierry. It's definitely French.
Are we going to guess who this is, are we?
Well, that's the second name. Have you ever heard of him?
That's the second name?
We've probably heard of him.
Well, the first name...
But we don't
Nicky Sixx.
recognise the name.
Oh, right, okay.
But you were just... You're bored of that story, so you're pissed off. But
Thierry.
so the second one... This is the second name.
All right, go on.
Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Probably.
No, wouldn't even I. So I was reading an article and this name popped up and the end of the story popped up and I thought, oh, that's good. So I researched it and I had a look into this James Spencer Henry Edmund Morcel Thierry.
Puff Daddy.
This one?
You did know it.
Oh, is it?
Puff Daddy.
Well, I'm going to carry on telling the story. Well, apparently is a Swiss French circus
Is it
performer.
swish?
Swish.
Swish. Swish.
Supersonic.
Swiss French circus performer. He's also a violinist. He's also an actor.
Sounds like a show-off to me.
And a director. And apparently lives in a 1-bedroom bedsit on Oaks Lane in Rotherham.
Is it single?
It weren't very successful then.
No. Is the son of Victoria Chaplin and Jean-Baptiste Thierry.
Okay.
What are you laughing at?
Sounds like it sounds like an extreme bull crapper.
He's also the grandson of Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Right.
And have you read the same article?
Keep going.
Right. So apparently he's visited a boat.
All right.
So this boat was built by Fred Corno. Proper name, Frederick John Westcott.
All right.
Who made his fortune in music hall impresarios. And he employed a group of people Now we're going back to early 1900s on this one.
Oh, yeah. Hold on to your britches.
Yeah.
All that way back.
We are
So
going
Fred
back.
Carano had a boat built
And in that time of day, they had their own language.
in 1911, and
Right.
it cost him 20 grand because he had it built out of mahogany.
That's a lot of money back then.
Out of what?
Mahogany.
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 Is that like some old wood?
So he had it designed for a 90-piece orchestra to play on deck.
It's a big boat.
Yep. It's a very big boat.
Made of mahogany.
Well, so what happened is why this James Spencer, Henry, Edmund, Marcel, Thierry went to visit this boat
Right.
is because when Charlie Chaplin were in England, he used to spend time on this boat.
Right.
And also his prodigy, who happened to be Stan Laurel from Laurel and Order.
All right.
So they spent time in summer or whenever they were on this boat doing whatever they did, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so he goes to visit this boat because his granddad used to go on it.
All right.
So the boat, as I said, was built by,
Some fella.
Fred Carno.
Oh, Fred.
And then
You know Fred Carno.
Fred.
boats.
Oh, Fred. Yeah.
Very famous
then-
boats, Fred
Yeah.
Carno
it,
built.
this boat also come up for sale in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody saw it up for sale in a dentist. Right?
Sorry.
It gets worse.
So this guy is sat
Oh,
in
yeah.
In a
dentist,
dentist.
He's a dentist.
and on table this Country Life.
How did you find this story?
So he picks Country Life up. and
As you
he's-
do,
And
yeah.
he's reading through it, and there's this boat there.
I know that boat.
So he thought, what a nice looking boat. I'll go and buy it.
Yeah.
So he went and bought the boat.
Oh, yeah.
The person were Gilmore.
Yeah.
The boat is the Astrona, which is now a recording studio.
How about that?
It was actually way back down, done with Charlie Chaplin as well.
Oh, that's. It took a while, but that was an interesting story.
Well,
And on that note,
Goodbye.
whoa, wait a minute.
Oh,
I've got
no,
some more
no, no,
interesting.
no, so-
I've got some more interesting boat stories made out of mahogany.
Oh, my good.
Good night.
Goodbye.